Well, welcome back, guys, to another episode of Residual Earners. I am Presley, and
Reagan.
this is Reagan, and we get Reagan on here to make us all look better. She's beautiful, very smart, and she is the co-host of this podcast, and we're excited that she's with us all the time. And today, I have been looking forward to this podcast more than I do most, because this young man played basketball for me. This young man, I knew him back when he was a snotty-nosed little kid. I used to tote him around and get him home and to school and to practices, and I'd have to bust his butt every once in a while because he'd act up. But he has turned out to be a phenomenal gentleman. I love him to death. He's like one of my kids. We've got Alex Ace Davis with us.
Thank you. I don't even know what to say after that.
Ace and I we go back since Ace is fixing to be 50, I think, and we go back to when he was probably 13. So I've known this guy for a long, long time. Tell people a little bit about you to get us going, Ace.
Well, I'm Alex, and I have been on a beautiful journey to be here, and I thank you for having me come out. So to share this beautiful experience with this. I currently work at the Sheriff's Department, Dallas County Sheriff's Department, and I've been there for going on 24 years come February. So that's a blessing to there and have it come with a lot of experiences, come with a lot of maturity because becoming a rookie cop to now, it's a totally different thing. So I currently work in the Fugitive Division. So the Fugitive Division is a tradition. I go all over the world. One thing I get out of this job, people say, um, pick up prisoners from all over. And it doesn't even matter what you have. We pick up from murder to criminal mischief. It doesn't matter what you get. And most places say this about that. We didn't think you would come in here.
That's such a crazy job. I can't imagine the things that you have seen.
I've seen some working the beat. So I enjoy working deep nights. If I had to go back to the streets, it'd definitely be deep nights because deep nights was you see everything. So I've seen the worst of the hardest thing I can say out of all these years I've been in is burn babies and drivers. Those probably would have been the toughest. They just never go away. Right. Everything else became normal, became more a norm for me. So I see life as is instead of like the hope in like just difference.
I've always I always wondered. This is like a lingering question I've had because I thought my original plan. I was in the criminal justice club in high school, and I thought I was going to be like CSI or a criminal attorney. I was rolling around the high school with fake ARs, like it was a whole thing. And I really thought that I had like the personality and the strength to see stuff, like crime scenes and everything. And I watch like a Grey's Anatomy show, and I'm crying and I can't see anything. So it didn't work out for me. But
I still cry on that show too.
Okay, there you go. Okay, that's what I need to know. Seeing stuff like that, like for me, I tell myself I would have never gone down that route because I don't think I could have seen it. But like, are people just colder, or like how can they see? Is it something you develop over time? Like I always wonder, like how can somebody see those things? Is it, are all these people just built different, or is it something that it's a muscle that you have to train over time?
That is definitely true. It's a muscle that you have to learn because for me, it went well. I don't know. I think Coach ruined to not have any pain. I didn't have any pain. Coach had me believe this is the God honest truth about life for me. I have two powerful people in my life. Coach is one of them, and I have my late father. They were identical. That was like my my chocolate and my ivory dads. So each one of them, they were meaner than a rusted stinks. Yeah. Just rusted nails, and they were, that's just how they were because they had me to believe that I can run through a wall. Coach definitely did. He told me I could jump higher than anybody, and I actually did. So all the things I used that to go to the military school after. Remember that?
I do.
I went to the military school, and I was at the military school, and I'm like, I don't know why coach let me go. I'm already disciplined. So once I went from that and I started seeing fatalities, the fatalities were different. There is no fatality alike. There is no murder alike. You see everything, and some people say there's nothing new under the sun. That is not true. It may be a factual thing that happens, but each drawing is different. So to accept those things, you have to have a passion to do it.
Yeah.
You have to wake up and say, put on a uniform and let's go save the world.
Wait,
You know, did you ever walk in on one situation that just kind of sticks out in your mind, where it just
Two.
two of them? Okay.
And these are the ones that I share with everyone. I was out of training, and coach, because you trained me to be such a fast runner, I never lost a chase, a foot chase, not one, not one. Radios off, flashlights gone. No one knew where I was at. Only they see me coming through the smoke with the guy and cracking jokes. One thing I did, I cracked jokes all the time. I remember one time chasing after this guy, and I'm telling him like in the movies, "Don't run for me." What? Don't run for me? And I said it. And then we get down this apartment hallway because he jumped out of the truck with stolen ATMs. Just the truck kept going. I'm like, the truck is going. The truck is, but he's going. The radio falls out of my hand. I'm calling. Truck's one way. He's one way. Go get the guy. And for one strange reason, there was a shaded side and a light side. And he ran towards the light side. I said, what? He's not good at what he's doing. I called him. And that was one of the things that you don't know. You look at people and you see them in the car, they look at each other, you know what looking at each other means. It's like, I'm going to get out of this car. And you better be prepared. And so when we run up on that, then we go into the same time, this is rookie year. And one of them was, I didn't even know Dallas County had alligator pits. So we're in a chase. Guy runs, the truck goes over this hill. I know absolutely nothing about Seagoville. All I know, I'm a super cop. That's all I know. Guys on foot, the Doberman's pitch. So as I'm running, I'm ready to catch my next run. My training officer, Julie Martin, she was an excellent training officer. She grabs me by my vest and almost yanked me back. She says, look at the sign. Alligator pit. If you don't catch them, something else will. And that was one of them. And then that same neighborhood, the third one, was to go to a house. And this time, the guy says there's a mental illness situation. And this is it looked like it's a stockyard. So we go there, it's big bays, everything. So we see foot marks. So the guy took off running. So Air One is helping us now. And it's 4 officers, pitch black, ground. We all passed this gentleman, and he had a revolver. So he could have actually taken all of us out. But when Air One told us where he's at, Air One said, officers, he's behind you. And I'm like, man, it's going to be a long night. But we ended up catching him. So go ahead.
Now, didn't you, and then you can take over, Ray, but didn't you one time tell me that you picked somebody up and, I don't know, they've been snarly with you and you looked at him and said, we can either do this the hard way or the easy way.
Yes, coach, and I didn't go home for 3 days. I think I was on the East Coast, and there was a gentleman, he had a triple heart surgery. So every situation in my job is different.
Right.
Because I have to be a different character every single time. I got to be, hey man, come on, I'm just trying to get you back to Texas. Come on, man, let's go. I'm going to get you some water burgers. Everybody loves water. That wins unanimous. But this gentleman is like, I'm not coming back to Texas. I said, I'm going to need you to put on this shirt. This shirt is going to disguise the restraints. He said, I'm not putting it on. And he threw his jacket at me. And in my mind, I played a whole scene. And I was like, he doesn't understand I'm 6'3", fit, and he gonna throw a shirt at me at 5'3". So as he threw the shirt, by the time I caught him at the same time, and had him, his arm behind his back, and I started this say, yes sir, no sir. I said, do I make myself clear? And as in that position, I let him know how my presence is felt. And by then, didn't even know there was a former Plano cop at this jail that used to be a sergeant. He said, you never heard about that? He said, you don't mess with Texas? The guy goes and fakes a triple heart. We ended up making an emergency landing. No one knows that I'm working. They don't know I have a badge on. They don't know any of these things. Then all of a sudden, he's doing this stuff. I'm like, come on, man. On the medical form, he said you haven't had one in 7 years. And so that is not even a story, because we landed in Chicago. We were halfway home. So we get there. They gave him something for his heart. He never took it. It ended up spitting it out, going into his pocket. So we're in the hospital, and this is one of the things. I read his medical form, and I'm like, well, he looked like he's gonna eat a salad today because he's super unhealthy. He was like, listen, sir, if you just give me a hamburger, I promise you it'll be all good. I get to the hospital, and he says, this man right here is the reason why my blood pressure's up. But you said you wanted the hamburger. I offered you the salad. And the doctor looked at me like, you gave him hamburger after you know his... He's a grown man. I gave him what he wanted. And the end of the story was, I had to stay 3 days with him and wait for my partner to come get him so we could go back together to Dallas. And that's
Wow. That's crazy. So I'm the type of person, my friends and family has said that I was lucky because I've had experience, maybe you deal, it seems like, with fugitives.
Yes.
I don't know if somebody's speeding as a fugitive, but
No.
I've been pulled over a lot and I've gotten a lot of warnings. And I have had the most pleasant experiences with state troopers of my life. The last state trooper pulled me over a long time ago. I haven't been pulled over in a long time, but when I was young, I was always speeding. And I was driving that long drive from Austin back to Dallas. And it was a morning, it was like 6 a.m. So that drive, if you know anything about that drive, going through Temple, there's nobody on the highway. It's a ghost town. I think it was Christmas Eve or Christmas morning or something. I was getting back to my family from a person I was dating at the time. And I was a little tired and I was stupid. I was put my phone on like the speedometer area behind the wheel and I had Netflix playing. So I'm like, there's not a car in sight. I'm just going to watch Netflix while I'm driving. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, I look to my left and there's a cop. It's a state trooper. And he's looking at me and he can see what I'm doing. And so he pulls me over and he goes, were you watching Netflix? I said, no, it was my maps. And he said, I'm going to ask you again because I saw, were you watching Netflix? And I said, yes, I was watching New Girl. It's my favorite show. And he goes, why would you do that? And I said, I'm so sorry. Like it's dumb. I shouldn't do it. I mean, this is my lesson. And he said, it is dumb. And I mean, this is dangerous. And I think you think there's nobody on the road, but you didn't even see how long I was to your left staring at you while you were driving. And you think there's no cars, but I sat here and stared at you for 10 minutes before you noticed me because your eyes are actually on the Netflix. And so we get to talking and we just kind of start laughing. And I said, I'm going to get in so much trouble. It's Christmas morning. He said, yes, you are. I'm going to write you a ticket. And he looks at my purse and it was like some Louis Vuitton bag I was gifted that I was told was real by the person I was dating at the time. And he goes, where'd you get that Louis Vuitton? And I said, oh, my boyfriend got this for me. And he goes, oh, did he say he got it like it's a real one? I said, no, it's real. He got this for me. He spent a lot of money. And he goes, has he been to New York recently? I said, yeah, just a couple like weeks ago. And he goes, I work for NYPD. I was in Chinatown a lot. That's fake. And I said, no, it's not. He wouldn't do that. And now I'm thinking the math, because it was like an early Christmas gift. And now the math is like adding up in my head. I'm like, wait, he was in Chinatown. He said he bought this for me. And he goes, I can tell. I've been there a lot. And he goes, you know what? I'm not going to write you a ticket because you already are dealing with that, with somebody who is a liar. And he was like, you need to break up with him. I'm not going to write you this ticket because that's going to be a problem in your future. And that's already enough for you. He's like, I'm just going to give you a warning. And so I got a warning, and he was so cool. And I was
bad Louis Vuitton.
I have a bad Louis Vuitton. He's been writing up the ticket right in front of me.
Do you still have this Louis Vuitton?
No, I threw that away.
You should have kept it. I would have kept it. Seems like it's more good luck than it is bad.
Yeah.
That's true. Maybe it is, but I think, in your position, and I don't know if you deal with pulling people over or anything, but I've had state troopers, cops, all these individuals, they're heroes to me. And I think people forget they're still people at the end of the day. And they like forget that they're here to protect us. And when you're getting in trouble, you're not getting in trouble because this person hates you. You're getting in trouble because you're watching Netflix while driving a car. And if you're just kind, they'll still, a lot of them are humans and they'll do right by you.
Would you believe me if I told you that I hate taking people to jail?
I think I actually would believe you.
When I see in Dallas County, let me tell you something. It's like a needle in a haystack when it comes to service. This is a different type of service in the jail. It's really like you see on TV. You go in there, you may have one bad apple, and it's bad. And that one bad apple will go into the other. But you ever seen the episode of Smurfs when they turn green?
Yeah.
And one Smurf and all of them green? That's central intake for us. And you'll be having the best day of your life. You go in there and there's someone who's going to tell you you're not. They're going to give you the business. And you have to be an officer and not say anything. And it could be somebody else's prisoner just ripping you apart, talking about your family, your mama, your wife, your anybody. You have to be like this. All I just wanted to do is just bring them in for his warrants and get out of here. Yeah. But you have to be in there for 4 hours.
Did it ever cross your mind to just grab them and beat the crap out of them?
Not even, because I talk them out of it. Like, so when were you supposed to go to court? Because I'm like, man, it is 1 o'clock in the morning. That means I get out here at 7 in the jail. And when they see me going to jail, oh, you're here. I'm like, trust me. I tried to talk them out of it. They wanted to come. Just some people will say this, take me to jail. I'm like, what? Who's that bold? Okay. Take me to jail. And they're like, well, why did you take me? Because you asked. I didn't want to go, but you asked. I'll take them.
Hey, did you pull people over? Did you do patrols where you actually had to pull people over?
All the time.
Okay, I got a question for you. You pull me over, you don't know me, just
Okay.
and then you pull beautiful Reagan over.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you gonna let walk and who are you gonna give the ticket to?
Reagan gets the ticket.
Reagan gets the ticket.
Every single time. Every single time. I'm sorry.
Well, why?
Because you're cute.
I was speeding because my tummy hurt.
Oh.
That doesn't work?
I'll say this. I'm going to let you get home so you can take care of it. Sign right here. This is not an admission of guilt. It's just a promise to contact the court. I've seen everything on a stop, and I'm like, you have to go and be Ray Charles allowed on the stop. So I just automatically, usually, this is the God honest truth, who gives me the business on traffic stops is pregnant Black women and older white women. They give you the business. They give you the business. They're worse than anybody. They're like, it's like you pull them over, you feel it. Like, dang, I'm about to get an earful this entire time. And pregnant women, take me to jail. And I'm pregnant. I'm like, I know, I understand this. I'm trying not to take you to jail. And you're on camera, so this is going to help you go to jail. By the way, you're acting. They can't take them to jail. I pulled over one night. This was the wildest night of my life with this passenger. She was coming on 45. She used to be a ex-cowboy cheerleader dancer. She still looked great. She probably was up in age, but she was letting me have it. You know I'm tired. Then why are you out? Speeding 95. Well, that's why I was speeding, because I was tired. I couldn't even give her a ticket. I felt that bad. She convinced me that she was going through a lot and was speeding, and I let her go. And I was like, she gave me a ticket because she was still cute.
That's funny. See, I thought that maybe I could get out of it. There's no hope for me.
Not at all.
I just gotta drive well.
No, I'm one of those guys that if you pull me over, I just go, yes, sir, I was speeding. Yes, sir. Sorry, didn't mean to. Wasn't paying attention. You're right. I mean,
how can you give somebody a ticket like that?
you know, and sometimes I get the ticket. Sometimes they go, okay, sir, just slow down. Don't do it again, you know, but, you know, I just, you know, hey, you're doing your job. I was screwing up, so I get it. Okay, you know. All right, let's change subjects here.
Yes.
I love hearing all those stories, and I could sit here for another 2 hours listening to that stuff. But anyway, you are in the midst of starting a podcast.
Yes.
You're kind of going to phase 2 of Ace's life here.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about what you got going now, Ace.
So, after being a part of the sheriff's department, so it's so much that goes on. So it's the place where you find yourself. So the reason why I probably stayed here as long as I have is because of the workers. That's it. The law enforcement thing, it's brutal. It's constant. It's everything that have no answer. So I'm like, it has to have an answer. It has to have an answer. So I started researching the answer. I deal with more mentally ill people. That's workers, and then that are people that I call when I'm working, I don't call them prisoners or inmates. I call them my clients or something on my package. So it keeps it more, it keeps it more business professional more than, because everyone everyone makes mistakes, and it's not my job to ridicule you or put you down for something you've done that you're trying to correct. Everybody's trying to correct a way of life. And that's how I look at it. So that's why the podcast is important. It's like, now what do I look at, and what do I have for a podcast, and what do I have as a talent? And I realize I have a lot of talents. I love people, and I don't like to see people struggle. So I'm in a field where I see struggle all day, every day, especially the number one thing is mental struggle. So once I started thinking about a podcast, I'm like, how can I help people? Because the people that's close to me, they got it. They're already walking somewhat of a fine line. So it's the people that you come across in your daily life. It's like, so what can I bring to them? And I see I bring the greatness of yourself first. People see that before anything. You see, yesterday, and this just happened how it happened. It's the craziest thing how the creator bring people in your path. And my wife wanted a steak yesterday. And this is how this was. She wanted a steak. And I was like, it doesn't open till 3. What am I gonna do? She said, well, I don't want anything. We'll get it tomorrow. Cool. So I'm driving home, and as I'm sitting in the driveway, someone drives up on me. And the cop mentality comes out. It's like, stand up tall. And the gentleman was like, well, I'm just, me and my friend, we're just selling steaks. What you got? This is the only one my wife eats, and I eat. I don't eat all this other stuff. So something that wouldn't have cost $300 at Logan Steakhouse or any steakhouse just came $300 in a box. But that wasn't the thing. It was the thing of the gentleman that I met. His name was Jeff. And Jeff had went through some tragic things and losing a child, a very, very young child. And in that process is Jeff trying to recover himself. That is what I live for. So you see a tall brother hugging this gentleman. We're just hugging in the street because opposed to everything else, nothing else meant anything to me but the way he was feeling. Because even though I get a chance to feel what he's feeling for a moment, he still has to go home with that feeling. So that's why the podcast is like us. We spoke about meditation. We spoke about books like, I'm a big fan of Napoleon Hill and Carl Jung, major fan. Anything that's to do with mind. And that's why the podcast is important. You start finding out the root of things with people and the identifier itself. It doesn't matter. Nobody can help you accomplish what you want to accomplish without going through you first. No help. And once you realize that even the closest person to you that say, I will, they will help you roll, but you have to do most of the rolling, practically 99% of the rolling.
So would you say your podcast is going to be around a lot of mental health topics just because you've seen
mental health? I'm usually a class clown, so I clown a lot. It's going to be on relationships. It's going to be the highs and lows of it. One of the other reasons why I'm so big on human health and mental health is because my father passed about 9 years ago, and it was a beautiful thing because the one thing that made me move is because his health, he didn't understand his health, so he was asking me. So I'm doing a little research on what I knew. But towards the end of his passing is where I started looking into things like holistic medicines and understanding, started getting into DNA. And because certain things, the body is so amazing, but the first thing it's going to tell you that you have to sit and get alone and confront your deepest self. And that's the only way people get out of things. People want to say, how do I change? First of all, you have to organize your disorganized life.
Yeah. I feel like maybe Presley and I, we may know some people, friends or family that deal with mental health issues, and we can feel passionate about it, but you have so much data from individuals and just a wide spectrum of different individuals that those certain things like mental health and relationships, no one inherently is a bad person. There are certain things that get them to that point, and you out of everybody you've been around those individuals more than anybody. So doing this podcast, the perspective and how much data you have on it is just more than probably us combined.
Yeah. No, and Ace, you've been around me a lot. I tell people you got to take a mental enema and get rid of the stinking thinking.
Yeah.
Because it's all about your thoughts. Your thoughts create your actions create your circumstances. And if you don't change your thinking, ain't nothing else gonna change. And so many of us, you know a little bit about my background, but I was adopted at birth. That got me out of a bad situation. And then the dad that adopted me, he ran off when I was 9. I had a bunch of junk in my head. I mean, he was abusive. So you have to get rid of that junk and then start putting the good stuff in, like Napoleon Hill, and you start reading Think and Grow Rich or Secrets of the Millionaire Mind or Rich Dad, Poor Dad, or you start putting all that good stuff in there, and all of a sudden you start realizing that, hey, I can be a success.
Yes.
Because we're all created in the image of the God that spoke the universe into existence. We all got greatness in us. We all got untapped potential in us. We just got to start understanding that we can do big things in our life.
It's our birthright.
It is. And I believe, people all the time come to me, Ace, and they go, well, you just don't understand where I come from. And I go, well, I came from the ghettos with no dad and a mama working in the sewing factory. I don't know about you, but that's where I came from. Well, Coach, you don't understand. I've made a lot of mistakes in my life. Well, my closet's full of skeletons. I can barely fit my clothes in there, so I've made a lot of mistakes too. Well, you don't understand, though. I don't have a business degree. Well, neither do I. I can teach you history and math. It's like people, they try to come up with all these excuses, And you're just going, no, it's all what you got inside you. If you want to change, you can change. If you want it bad enough, you'll figure out how to get it done. I say all the time, hey, I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, but I got a burning desire in my butt to be somebody. And that burning desire is what drives me. And as an athlete, watching you grow up, you were an athletic kid, but that desire you had inside is what really took you to the next level. And, we all got that greatness in us. We just got to get it out.
Yes. It's called, what is it called, Coach? They call it the excuses are expensive.
Yeah. Well, you can either make money or you can make excuses, but you can't make both.
Can't make both.
And, I'll end with this on this topic, but, I tell people all the time, what kind of legacy are you leaving? Because your kids and grandkids, are you teaching them somebody with your last name can do something big? Or are you teaching them that somebody with your last name makes excuses all the time? And that's big. And I can't wait to start getting on your podcast, man.
It's going to be crazy.
When's your tentative launch date?
I wanted it to be June, but there was so much that I was getting to so many other things because I have so many interests that I'm adding. So as I'm thinking of writing, as I'm thinking of recording, so I didn't start understanding the audio part. So the visual part. So I'm starting to put the visual down together with all the words and the sound effects, because I'm actually being able to be the kid that I've always been. I was the kid that had the microscope, the telescope. I wanted to know everything.
Right.
I didn't want anybody to tell me anything. Coach, you had to come bail me out a lot because no one could tell me how to do me.
All right, I'm going to ask again, though. When are you launching this thing? You're beating around the bush and you're not giving me an answer.
Let's launch around.
Not around. When are you launching? I want to know a date.
Let's see. Let's go launch September 1st.
September 1st.
The vocal canvas.
The vocal canvas.
The vocal canvas is what it's called.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, y'all heard it. I'm going to hold him to it, and I want you guys to hold him to it as well, because what I will do, the podcast, Reagan, let's remember this, the podcast we do before September 1st, we want to remind everybody of the podcast that Ace is going to do.
Now you have to do it.
I know. See, you gave me a date that I know I can't refuse. That's the
No,
bond.
no, that's it.
That's the bond.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Because if you don't have a date, I call it, you got to put a timestamp on it. Or
Yes.
if not, it's like you tell people, hey, let's get together.
Yes.
And then 6 months later, you see them again, you go, well, let's get together. And then you see them 6 months later, and you go, let's get together.
Yep.
If you don't pick a date, you just keep saying, let's get together. Well, that's the same way with launching something.
Yeah.
And, I'm going to tell you this, Ace, from launching a bunch of things in my life, you're never going to feel like it's ready.
Right. I just learned that.
You never will feel, when we started doing this, I didn't feel like we were ready. Let's wait another couple of weeks. Let's do a couple more things. Let's get it perfect, Perfect's a myth. The perfect time is a myth. Just get it close and launch.
Yes. One of the biggest things that I learned, like when I spoke earlier about becoming orderly, that was one of the biggest things, because I have this big idea and I already knew the success of the vocal canvas before the vocal canvas came out. It took me about 3 months to come up with that name. That's like over 300-400 different names, because it had to mean something. And so when I wanted it to be the vocal canvas, it's like you have the ability to draw whatever you want to draw in your life. If you want to draw with crayons, draw with them, map colors, or if you want to get the precision, you want to start making a dot and drawing this thing, and it comes to a big old canvas of your choice, not someone else's. So I had to start becoming orderly. And one of the things we always ask, how do you become orderly? Like, first of all, get rid of some of the stuff at your house that you have not used. If you got books at your house, dust them off. Open them. They do open. They do. Pens do write. Paper doesn't burn you if you write on it. It actually teaches you more about yourself. And these are the things that some people, I used to try to be an officer to go and talk to people. See, this is the thing about officers. You have mental illness problems, because for me, August 19th, 3 years ago, would have been the day that really changed my life. I already had this hard-nosed attitude, but try falling, try depending on life itself, depending on man, depending on woman, depending on all these things. Once you fall down, you can't be reached. So I wanted to replace the one thing that everybody wake up every single morning to do is to live. Is to live your best life, not someone else's best life, your best life. And nobody knows what it is because you got to be not afraid to speak. And most people are afraid to speak about, you may want to be like Coach don't know, I love yoga. I used to be in the airport, big old black man doing yoga. Now all of a sudden people come, I like your moves. I didn't know, I said, yeah, I didn't know I can hold those moves, did you? You get what I'm saying? So it becomes that type of thing to not be afraid to try. And we don't believe in like going halfway, hoping. There's no believe in hope anymore. Hope is still halfway. You have to go all the way. You got to actually believe and know for a fact. And I don't never see the end of everything, Coach. I don't see anything. I just know this deep feeling inside that says, don't quit, don't give up. You are 3 feet from gold.
Amen. Well, the great Jedi warrior Yoda says, there's no such thing as try. There's either do or do not. And I hate it when people say I'm going to try. No, you're failing already. Don't say that. Well, we got to wrap this thing up. Reagan, give us a wrap up.
Okay.
Well, I'm curious to know more of your stories. I can't wait for the podcast to come out so I can hear more of those. But I appreciate everything that you've done. I mean, like I said, you are a hero to me. And other people may say differently, but to me, to Presley, and to a lot of us, you're a hero. And what you've seen and gone through is shaping you today. And I just can't wait to see your podcast on September 1st.
September 1st.
Come out. We're actually, guys, if you're watching this right now, for about 5 to 10 minutes, he's going to go over how he's building his podcast and some of the tools he's using. So if you're a member of our university, that's how you'll get access to the how he was able to start his podcast and the tools and some AI that you're using. You do have to be a member. You could click down in the description. You'll see a link to our university. But again, really, really loved having you on today and excited for the vocal canvas.
Yes, it's residualearnersuniversity.com, guys. And join us. We're a business network and we are working hard to help you be a success. I'll end with this. I've been telling Ace for 20, 30 years, long time, how much potential he had inside him. And it just makes me happy as a lark that he is branching out and starting his podcast and doing all this stuff. Sometimes it takes us a while to let stuff sink in, but I've known he had it in him for a long time. But anyway, guys, we're excited that y'all joined us. Man, I can't wait for September 1st either, and we're going to watch that podcast. As soon as we finish here, I'm putting it in my phone with a reminder to call you. So I don't want to hear excuses either. So anyway, guys, thanks for coming. We'll be back next week. Goodbye.
Thank you.